I'm a data scientist professionally, and I also mentor data science program at Great Learning. And here's one of my previous mentee who has asked me these questions, which I thought I should share with everyone so that I can help all of the future data scientists out there that is looking to break into the field. This person here sent me their resume. They are an international student from Turkey with a background in software engineering and did a master in computer science in the US and did a further boot camp where I taught and mentored at. And now she wants to break into the field, and here's her resume, and she wants some feedback on it. Her resume is 2 pages, which I don't recommend because the more succinct you are, the better. And usually, if you have 2 pages, they typically look on the first page only. So I recommend to shorten this to 1 page. This is what her first page looks like. So she put some experience on here. Um, and I think this is a bit confusing. Firstly, the formatting isn't great and it's not consistent and makes it really hard for the readers to follow. And little things like formatting does matter because you want something that is easy to read. You don't have to go with the same format as everyone else, but it does help and it doesn't matter as much as long as you convey the messages you want to get across. I like the first bullet point, but I don't like the second bullet point. Achievements is good to add in there. It got the right idea, but it needs to be a lot more succinct and how that impacted the business and what was the result of it rather than going into great details of what these achievements actually are in terms of the features. So what I would change is that keep the first bullet, put the second bullet into a bracket um, onto the first line so that it looks like these are all the technologies that was used. Shorten the achievement into a bullet line and focus on the impact to the business or to the team and how it either increased revenue or cut costs. For the second one, cryptography is very general. I'm not exactly sure if this is a project or a work experience, so this should be categorized much better. I would recommend having a work experience on top, then related projects like extracurriculars, and then each of them should include bullets, and each bullet should only be 1 to 2 lines only with one action keywords, which is like designed, validated, and then achievements should be placed with numbers. For internship, you don't really need to put it as internship. You can just put it as experience with the time on it. People can assume and know that it's an internship experience. And these are really good experience. I recommend putting all the technology into a small bracket. For this person with a background in computer science looking to break into data science roles, well, I recommend that you should definitely open your search. Since you have a comp sci background, look for software engineer, and that could include categories like backend engineering, machine learning, and data. The software engineer data is going to be more focused on data engineering, which is building ETL pipelines. For machine learning engineering, you would be focused on more machine learning using Python. And software engineering background, backend, you could be working in a machine learning team, fixing or building infrastructure. I definitely recommend like expanding searches like that, and it makes it a lot easier to see what you can land and feel for different roles in the company once you get in. If you want purely data related roles, then data analysts, data scientists are really good roles to go after, or business intelligence analyst, which essentially is the same as data analyst. Um, so these three names might vary a little bit depending on a company, but to me, they're essentially the same thing. You have to essentially know SQL, Python, some machine learning, simple statistics, A/B testing, and being able to pass the coding interview for SQL and Python. So you can practice on LeetCode for that, and some visualization skills that is from Tableau or maybe Python again, or any visualization tools that you chooses like Metabase or Power BI or Looker. There's also a lot of entry-level positions, so you can definitely apply for all of them, and I think the numbers game is the most important here. You can do two type of pipelines. One is just sending your resume across, Or you could second thing is building your online portfolio to make it look very polished so that recruiters will reach out to you. So LinkedIn is a great tool for that. And if you can and if you have time, other than practicing for your technical skills, I would also recommend doing some networking, either from going to conferences in data or software engineering or tech, anything related to that, or even crypto events. And then you can also cold call or cold emails or cold LinkedIn message people from LinkedIn that are in data roles, either in the manager, director, or data analyst positions, where they can give you a referral and they probably have incentives to do so as well. So get to know some people in the industry to land those jobs, since I looked at LinkedIn and there's like hundreds for per application. It's very concern that she has as well is that she's applying to returnship program, but because she's located in Connecticut, it's very hard to get these jobs outside of state. Well, I have moved across Canada in multiple locations. Don't be so attached to the location that you first arrived in when you are an immigrant. There's lots of opportunities all throughout, and a lot of them are remote, but working in hybrid can add a lot of value as well. So take that opportunity to move. I'm sure it will be fine. And it's also very hard to get a job without experience. So how do you do that as a new grad, even though you were an honor student? So this is a major misconception that people have, that being a good student alone is going to get you a job. But it's actually, if you're not going to the, go to medical school or law school afterwards or graduate school, that's the only time where your grades matter. But if you're going straight into the workforce, what matters more is your internship. So as long as you have some passing grade, you can prove that you have the skills if you have worked in the field. So for this person, it might be a little bit harder since she hasn't had as much experience, but she does have internship experience, and I'm going to assume hackathon experience. These are all valid experiences, and you can always break into the industry by sharing the experience you've had in these hackathons, because a lot of them are very transferable and it's the way you communicate it. So practice talking about how you analyze data and how you made an impact for whatever projects you're in. It's also very good to work for startups as well. They hire a lot. So expand your search. I'm sure out there there's someone who really values your skills. So for this person, what I recommend is that continue applying, continue networking. Don't focus too much on building more technical skills because you need enough already. Get as much practice as possible through doing these interviews with the interviews that were offered, but don't get um don't feel too bad when you get turned down, because it's part of the game. And persistent is really key. Keep doing that until you build your network. Have some social media presence, like build up your LinkedIn to be very focused towards the career path you want. So in this case, data scientist. Make everything about your LinkedIn that says that you are an amazing data scientist, and send it and try to connect with as many people as possible. At this point, I'm sure that you have the technical skills already, but the gap here isn't more technical skills. The gap here is finding the opportunities and capitalizing on it. So this new grad is being suggested to go learn more about data engineering. And because she doesn't have industry experience, she can't really afford to learn another subject and not be able to land a job afterwards. So where should she start from there? Well, I think data engineering is a very good thing to learn, but majority of the interviews for entry levels are going to be focused around technical skills from Python and SQL. And there are some questions on designing the experiments for A/B testing and machine learning for data science and data analyst roles. For data engineering, it's building pipelines. It's a bit different. And the reason why people are suggesting that is that it might be a bit easier to get in if you know data engineering, because there's not that many data engineer around, and there's a huge need for data engineering. But there's also a huge need for data science as well. So sometimes if you have some data related skills, you can learn on the job, and most of the time you do learn on the job. So instead of actually taking the time to learn another new skill where you've already gone through a boot camp, I would recommend doing the spread out strategy where you apply to everything that is data and software related roles, and you get to learn and practice by going through all of these interviews. So incrementally, it increases your chances and give you practices at the same time. And don't be afraid to expand your search into tech companies, the top F500 companies, and being able to explore banks as well, or hospitals. They do look for data analysts or data scientists as well. But the main point is start doing and start applying and start talking to people in the field to increase your chances of getting referrals and getting interviews. And it's a numbers game at the end of the day. So when you get rejections, please don't take it personally, because in my own experience of applying for jobs, a worst company has rejected me, but a better company came along afterwards and gave me a really good offer. So a lot of it is luck based and, culture based and fit based. So a lot of things you can't control, but having the increasing your odds of getting there is going to be a lot better for you to achieving your goal.